Good morning, you all. Well, I came out here and I am disappointed in the way the garden looks this morning. But what I'm going to do with that? So I just got to do the work and get it back to where it's supposed to be because it looks a mess out here. Yeah, disappointed. Some things look good and other things look horrible. Something We got plenty of watermelon growing, but something done smashed one of them. Um, the sunflowers are blooming. That's one sunflower that's in a place where it ain't supposed to be, but you know, if it ain't supposed to be there, it wouldn't have been there. So I just kind of let it grow where it may. But it's in there with carrots. And then our sunflowers over there are kicking in, about to open up. Good morning to you all. Today is a better day, a much better day. Um, I don't feel 100%, but I woke up to absolutely no tears, able to talk about the situation a little bit with my husband and another family member. And it is very true. The more you are able to talk to people about it, it gets less and less hurtful to deal with certain situations. So, we dealing with it, but today is a better day. Let's see, it started on Thursday, and this is Saturday morning. So Thursday and Friday was a rough day, but today is a new day. The garden looked just like the garden looked just like Thursday and Friday, rough. So we're gonna have to do some work and get that fixed. But I highly doubt it if it's going to be today. So this morning I came out here to the garden thinking, well, the least I can do is set the sprinklers and listen to the sound of the sprinklers. But there's no watering needed because the good Lord watered the garden last night about 2 or 3 o'clock this morning. It was throwing down here in Florida. So I mean, the thundering and all the thunder and lightning it was doing, um it was a lot. So, and y'all know, the last time we was really out here in the garden like that we had a visitor that was out here that we don't play around with. So I'm moving very cautious through the garden because you know we have visitors that be out here. So now I have to go through each one of these rows and get this grass and stuff from out of here. But then too, I don't even want to move it out of there because I see what happened when I told y'all the squirrels was taking my peanuts. So what the squirrels was doing, they were taking the peanuts and stacking them in their jaws and taking them other places and planting them. So now we got peanuts growing all over the yard, everywhere but where we planted them at. So, so yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work to get this garden back together after neglecting it for a little bit, almost a week. So, you know, we'll get it back in order, but oof, it's hot out here. We got okra growing on the plants. Um, that's ready and they steady blooming and everything. I mean, I'm looking at it now and I'm just thinking to myself, oh, I can knock this out in no time. Uh, you know, I just need to get in the head space of go ahead and get it done, Shauna. Get your garden back on track because you've connected your garden to your process in life. And so I shared with y'all my rough patch that I had in my process. And the garden is definitely showing the results of the rough patch. So even my bell pepper plant is drooping down to the ground, looking real pitiful. But then there are some things, there's still beauty out here in the midst of um, all of the weeds that we need to pull out. There's still beauty out here. So um, I'm not just going to complain about it. It is what it is. And I'm going to still sit here and suck it in because even though things don't look the way that I want them to look, that's a part of how things happen in real life is we don't like the way things look, and there's a process to go through for that. And right now I don't like the way things look out here in my garden. I don't like the way things look in uh-oh, I'm sorry y'all for dropping y'all down like that. But I also listen, I done lost my train of thought. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. I'm sitting here just looking at this garden and soaking it in. Cause I ain't really been out. I haven't been out here ever since the snake came out here. So just sitting around and looking at it and taking it all in. You know, when you come out here on a day-to-day basis, you find, well, this needs to be done, this need to be done. And when you're coming out here and you checking on it every day, tying it to ourselves, checking on yourself every day. You know, you'll work on it and doing a little tweaking, but as soon as you take a vacation away from taking care of yourself, um, this what it looked like when you return from taking care of yourself. So when you turn back around and you start to take care of yourself, you know, you'll clean all of those things up right now because you're alive. You get to correct those things on another day. As long as you're above the dirt, this can be fixed. So, you know, it take a little bit of work, you know, to get it back together. But this ain't nothing that I can't do. I can literally have this done probably in less than 30 minutes. It's all a matter of cranking up a machine. In my mind, I go to the first hardest thing that it can do, because usually I like to go in between the rows with a hoe and dig up the weeds and everything, and then I give them to the chickens from there. But this is a lot of work. So my husband suggested to me, don't cut it with the lawnmower and on none of that stuff. Just get the tiller and go back over the stuff, tie it up, and then rake it out. So with the tiller, I literally can go in the middle of the row, each row, one or two passes in each row, and it'll be done. Um, and then the garden will look a whole, it'll look brand new, all basically. And and then I have to start from there. Right now I'm just thinking of my process of how are you gonna handle this, instead of freaking out that, it's like, I know some people have um things, and when people go through depression, you go through depression in a lot of different ways. Sometimes your depression is you stay in your bed, nothing don't get done. And when you come out of those moments and you finally snapping out of it, you go in your kitchen, and like your kitchen look like a bomb went off in there. And the process to it is first going and recognizing that there's a problem and it need to be cleaned up. You go in the kitchen and you stand there, and or you go and look at it, and then you go and sit in the bathroom. You go and sit in the bathroom about 5 or 10 minutes, and just think about, okay, where am I going to start? You already ahead of the game, just the fact that you want to start. So once you figure out where you're going to start making up your plan of action of how you're going to do it, then you absolutely know that it's attainable. But for me, I always go to the hardest, the hardest thing of, I want to do this, because I kind of like the process of, you digging it up with that manually, instead of the machine. But yeah, I'm going to take the easy road, the easy road this time. Kind of like if you seen your kitchen in a mess, if you got a dishwasher, which I don't, if I had a dishwasher, I wouldn't even use the dishwasher to wash the dishes. So there was no purpose in me really having one. But what I do turn the dishwasher in, now that I'm thinking about it, I was like, it would have been nice to have a dishwasher, because then I won't have to use up any of my counter space to drain dishes. And then I would only have to run the dishwasher washer like once a week to clean the dishwasher out. But anywho, um, there's a process to getting all of this stuff cleaned up. So um, I'm working on me, trying to get me to a better place. And because my garden is a representation of me and where I want to go, um, I like to pull out the weeds and all of that stuff and see the beauty that's in my garden. And again, which is a representation of me. So, um, and just being out here and sucking in the peace that this garden brings to me, the peace that I haven't had in more than a week, because what really want to happen is the devil want to win. First, I seen a snake every day for a week straight. One of them almost touching my foot. And for me, that usually means that I'm done with the garden. The snakes can have the garden, to then me being triggered by something, which also makes me go away. But in this moment, for me to be able to come out here and knowing there's a possibility that I may see a snake or something today, I can still come out here and find and breathe in the peace that's out here in the garden. So where do we go from here? Good morning to everybody. Um, I'm going back in the chat now, y'all. So I didn't even see you all come in because the way I have it now, I have to be turned a different way. Good morning, Shawanda. Good morning, Shauna. We are back in the garden today. Yes, I had to make myself. I had to make myself come out here and do it because I made up an excuse. Oh no, you need to get that shed done. And no, girl. At this point, you're avoiding the garden. So, Shauna, go to the garden and see what's going on out there. So that's what I decided to do. Yes, I'm gonna be careful out here in the garden. Love how you compare your growth and situation in your garden to your growth and situation in life. Yeah, and I told y'all about it's something about it, and it's like if if you tie it to whatever it is that you want to take care of it, and it encourages you to take care of the situation that you going through. I didn't have nobody tell me that. It's just like I was sitting around watching and paying attention to different things that happen. And that's just how I be sitting around just looking and paying attention to things. And it's almost like in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, how does this work? How do you get to that place? Um, and a lot of times it's like, I a couple of times I tell the story, and a lot of you may know I'm not that good with computers and stuff like that right there, right? So I don't know what I'm doing, but it's literally this simple. Miss Coffee made me a video. And y'all, I'm not talking about a video that was um this was not like it was a 6 or 10 minute video, no nothing. Miss Coffee gave me, I want to say, about 2 minutes, a minute and 36 seconds of her time. And that minute and 36 seconds that she gave me broadened my horizons to a whole bunch of things. Now, have my mind been focused on the tools that she gave me to know how to edit and stuff like that? No, my mind hasn't been focused on that, but I think about it all the time. And that 1 minute and 36 seconds that she gave to me changed a whole lot. So I sit down and I was like, if I can get one piece of information, I can do a whole lot with that one little piece of information. So sometimes I just be sitting around and I just be thinking, it's like, I want this plant to do this right here and do that right there. And I want it to be successful. I want it to put out fruit and stuff for me. But what do I have to do to put fruit out on it? And when I can't figure out something, the first thing I do is I run to the internet. So I run to the internet and I just ask questions. I don't tell them what my problem is. I just be like, well, what's happening to your plant if it's turning yellow or whatever? And just going down that process right there, being more attentive and wanting to know what's happening in my garden, somehow switched to wanting to know more stuff about me versus other people that around me, because the way my life has been set up is to cater to everybody else's needs and leave mine alone. So your garden does not allow you to be attentive to everything else and not put no attention on them. You can still go out in your garden and you can still reap a harvest, because we told you that you can go outside and you can just sprinkle some seeds down on the ground. You don't have to put a whole lot of work into it. The plants will grow. But then when you're looking for something higher or something more, because that one little piece of growth can spark, which is what happened to me. That one little piece of growth spark. I want more. I want more, and I want more. And then I start to tie it to just trying to think back of the process of how I even got to even thinking of that way and tying the garden to myself. um but do you have a PO box? I do not, and I've been saying that I'm gonna set it up because people been asking me a long time ago about a PO box, and I don't have any reason, no rhyme either, of why I don't have it. And so I just need to go and do it. But I don't, Angel, and thank you for asking. But when I set it up, then I'll come on here and let you all know that I went and did the PO box. Glad you are feeling better today. I am. I woke up with I didn't shed any tears this morning. No nothing. So I knew from that at that point it was a better day. And then I finally sat down and talked to my husband this morning about what it was happening because he mentioned it again. He was like, "Hey, remember the other day when you were crying or whatever? You still haven't said anything to me about it." So this morning was my chance to like, talk to my husband about it, so he can understand where I was in that moment or whatever. So, um, but yes, y'all already know that if the day and the night didn't go so well, that I would be on here in a whole different space on here this morning. I finally got to plant my potatoes yesterday and thought of you. Oh, that's that's so nice. I'm glad you put your potatoes in. So what kind of potatoes did you plant, Shawanda? Potatoes, yes. And once you plant them one time, and if you're a potato type of person, you like potatoes. In this house over here, we love potatoes. Um, when you plant some, according to how you eat them and how much you plant, about a month, or I'll even say 2 months. No, I ain't gonna say 2 months. In a month, go and plant more. Put more potatoes into the ground. And I'm only telling you that because if you plant some and you let 2 months go by, then you'll have some growing, but then you'll be able to keep them growing for your season. Or you can plant half of what you have already and keep the things and hold on to them for like another month or two if you can hold on to them. Sometimes you get nervous because they be growing the little things everywhere, but you can still plant them that way. But hold on to them and plant some like a month later, so you will continuously through the season have them growing and growing. Like, I got the ones in the pots and stuff, and no, I haven't emptied any of those potatoes out or anymore since the last time we was on here. And it's about time. I actually had a dream last night that I laid out a piece of tarp and I dumped all of them on the tarp to see what all we got from out of that one spot. So I'm gonna go back and we're gonna eventually take care of that, because when I tell you we ain't took care of nothing out here. But plant them like that, like a month apart, so throughout the growing season, as long as it's gonna be hot, if you're gonna have 3 more months of heat, keep on planting them out. So then after a while you will have all of your own potatoes. You won't have to go to the store and get some. Good morning, Miss Coffee. um Morning, high class gardeners. I'm coming. Yes, on one this morning. I gotta go back and see. I gotta say, because I seen the heading of it, but I'm trying to. I always say, I be focused on a lot of things and it was tempting to let me go over and watch that, but then I said to myself, um, Shauna, you're putting yourself on the back burner again. Go and take care of you. So I wanted to get out here in this garden and see me, see what's happening out here to me, and then I'm definitely gonna make time for that later for sure. So I just wanted to stay true to myself. So and I know once you seen somebody being, attacked and going through they things that they been going, and once somebody come right, yeah, it's coming when it's time to defend yourself. So red potatoes and gold rush. Oh yeah, you got the 3 month thing going on, Shawanda. Yeah, plant some, let a month go by, then you will continuously have them growing during the season. And don't forget to save some of yours on and let them go, turn into seed potatoes, because your potatoes will always be better than anything they grow at the stores and all of that. They just taste so much more scrumptious. Um, but you said thanks for that info, because we love. See, I already know it is. In our community, if and I'm not saying that other, because people love to say whenever I say in our community, eh, I'm not trying to separate no anything. I know more about our community than I know about any other community. And I love all people, point blank, period. We got jacked up ones, and over here we got jacked up ones over there, and so I don't do all of that right there. It's just I love people in general. But in our community, um look at it, I done lost my train of thought. But in our community, it's we all done strayed away from this thing that we know about. And then, so once you sprinkle it in there and you get them to start thinking back in those times and everything, it's implanted in your blood that um this is in you. We've been doing this since the beginning of time. And everybody has seen a part of it. Everybody used to, back in the days, that was the only way to get food and stuff, is you were growing your stuff. Then they invented the supermarkets and all of that good stuff. So you know get back on your grind and open your horizons and grow your own food. It tastes so much better. And that goes out to everybody. And y'all, I went around that blocks right there because y'all know sometimes when I have a lot of stuff on my mind, um, I be thinking about too many things. So sometimes my words and stuff get crossed up, and I'll lose my train of thought of whatever I'm getting ready to say. So I'll just like went around right on around, and I want y'all to know the truth. I was going to say something else, and I say, well, here, let me throw something else in there because I done lost my train of thought over there. Sitting around and looking out here, especially if you tie your garden to your life. I mean, the more I keep looking over here and looking back over there are so many things out here that I can look at. And the one thing I come out here and I'll discover the ugliness of everything before I discover the beauty when it comes down to the garden. What does that mean? I can come out here, and then just the thought just then of thinking, if I can come out here and the first thing I can recognize is the ugliness out here, what is that saying about me? All I can recognize is the ugly that I see out here. But in actuality, if I wish I could walk out here, and I'm saying it out loud, so now it's gonna be implanted there. Shauna, stop walking in the room. I can remember telling somebody, when you get up in the morning time, you bathroom, and I hear you every morning in there. I got a daughter that was doing that. She go in the bathroom in the morning, and I can hear her in the bathroom. She was like, and she kept doing this, man, man. But behind each one of those things, she's in the mirror and she's looking at herself and everything, all of her flaws every morning, which she called flaws. Ain't no mama standing there, looking at their kids looking. thinking about their flaws. Not at all. She's in the mirror viewing her situation as flaws. So she's looking in the mirror. She don't like that when she got on a tank top, like that little part that gathers up under your arm or whatever. And she's a small girl and everything. And I'm just like, okay, so every morning, I hear her in the bathroom, and I mean, it just like hit me one morning. Like every morning, I'm in there listening to her, and she's saying everything that she does not like about herself. So this one particular morning, I walked in there, and she's all up in the mirror, looking at her teeth and all of that there stuff. She got braces and all of this stuff, but she up close in the mirror, and I hear her in the bathroom complaining. So I walk in the bathroom, and I was like, "Listen, this is the last morning that I want to hear you in this bathroom complaining about everything that you do not like about yourself. The last morning. I said, what I want you to do is from now on, when you get up and you look in the mirror, I say, start telling yourself about the things you do like about yourself. And I can give that kind of advice because I know what it feel like to be all the way down to the ground. I can tell somebody that, but to make it click in for myself sometimes is a little bit more than I can expect of myself. So now I say to y'all, I walk out here in this garden, and so now what I'm doing is the same information that I give to my kids is now I got to turn back around and I got to eat it. So now I walk out here, and the first thing I start telling y'all about is what I'm disappointed in the garden. So I'm doing the same thing that my daughter did. I come out here and recognize all of the things that I don't like about myself because, again, I tied my garden to myself. I came out here, and the first thing I start telling y'all about is all of my flaws out here in the garden. So I have to change that, especially when you can see. Do you see that beauty right there? Do you see that yellow that's peeking through there? Is that not beauty? Is that not? But I recognize the ugly, the things that I don't like, before I acknowledge the beauty in the situation. So, and that's not the only beautiful thing. If you could see next to that, there is um black-eyed peas that's planted where those two sticks are standing at, right? I know you all may not be able to see it that good, but if we were over there, you would see. And y'all, I ain't about to go over there right now because I ain't finna walk through no bushes. See, when I walk through them weeds over there, I will be walking through there with the tiller. I definitely won't be walking up over there, especially after I done ran into a snake. So we ain't doing that. But if I could go over there, and I can go over there, but I ain't finna go over there, you would see that there is so many pretty blooms that are on the and I'm just gonna move you all just a little bit there. If we were closer up on it, you will see that there's a whole bunch of blooms on those black-eyed peas, and they are so pretty, but you can't hardly see it because the weeds are drowning it out, which means the things you're not looking for to grow is drowning out your things you are trying to grow. So we got to get rid of the weed. And listen, from over here, I'm looking and I'm sitting here talking to you all. I done discovered something else beautiful because not only do those black eyed peas got blooms on them, they got peas on them, and I'm looking at them right now and didn't even realize that they got the beans growing on them already. So look at there, the excitement of discovery, and I can't see anything else over there in the midst of some of that stuff. We got cabbages growing over there that I've never been able to grow before because everything come along and eat them up, and they don't do that well. But again, I come out here and I look at the ugly instead of paying attention to the beauty. Look at that sunflower right there growing in the midst of where my carrots supposed to be growing, and they coming in slowly but surely, but the carrots are starting to come in to the rows. um that's adding to the garden, but that sunflower is something that I didn't put there. It just growing there. Another beautiful thing is, that I'm not paying attention to, when y'all seen these okras before, you couldn't even realize where the okra were, they so small. But not only are those okra plants standing there, if you were closer up on them, you would see that every okra plant, not only does it have blooms on it, but they also have okra on there. And one of them got an okra on it so big that it's not going to be edible. It's going to be more okra seeds. So, and then if you looked over in the tomatoes, because now I'm telling y'all about all the things I done came out here and I realized all the ugly right from the get go. And then there's so much beauty that I could have paid attention to, but I chose to pay attention to the ugly first. So if you're seeing ugly in yourself, you already recognize that enough. Start to pay more attention to the beauty versus what you find ugly. Now I look over here at the tomatoes. If I was hungry today and I didn't have anything in my house to eat, regardless of how big or small those tomatoes are, because who, there's well over 50 tomatoes over there growing right now. But I couldn't recognize the beauty of how many tomatoes I got growing over there versus looking at the weeds that are out here in the garden. I can get those tomatoes and I can slice them up, and it will be more than enough fried green tomatoes to fill us up for today. But yet I came out here and paid attention to the weeds in the garden. And then I'm thinking about too, a lesson that I'm learning here on YouTube is that you can have a beautiful thing going on and everything is going beautiful, and then a troll walks into the section and you start to pay more attention to the troll versus all of the beauty that's happening around you. And sometimes, and I ain't gonna even take away from that, because sometimes um it feel good to go ahead and the pent up stresses and the aggression that you feel on the inside, it's good to let loose on somebody who trying to let loose on you. But too, I also try to keep in mind, they say people that try to hurt other people, they are hurt people too. So I try to stay in that mind frame, but it don't always work all the time. And so you have to give them back what they give to you. And I believe in matching energy. So, you know, but to each his own. I got that from somebody who came in up under one of my videos and said that I'm too old to be talking about I'm too no, let me correct myself. They said we too old to be out here being in the business of what Drake and Kendrick Lamar got going on. But I guess to each his own. Well, we too old to be out here paying attention to it, but you stopped through long enough to watch my whole video that clearly said Kendrick and Drake on the beginning of it. And you decided to stop by and spend your time over here and complain that we too old. Let me correct your sentence for you. No, you too old. You too old to be minding any of this stuff that Kendrick Lamar them, because the last time I checked, I still got kids out here and I'm gonna educate them on this foolishness that be going on out here in the streets and the things that they really be trying to cover up with the whole situation. So whether it's a game that they throwing together out in the world or whatever, take whatever game they playing and get okay, what they call it, they say if it's a mess that going on, whether they playing a game or whether they setting us up as the real world, because you know they ain't just playing no games and setting up us up in the real world. They're actually doing things and they're desensitizing us so that we don't be thinking in the lines of this ain't real, this just a game. So once you done play that game with people, after a while they don't have the same reaction to it no more. No, pay attention to those things and watch the game that they playing, because they trying to engrave all of this foolishness and stuff in our minds so that we can all be thinking it's okay for you to be 50 years old and be with a 12-year-old. No, a 50-year-old being with a 12-year-old will add up to the same thing that I've been going through um the past couple of days. So I corrected her sentence and said, "No, you're too old." But and at the end of her thing, she said, if it was a her, I don't even remember. But she said, "But I guess to each their own." So since she said that to me, it's like I think about that. I say, and I told her, I said, "No, you may be too old to be talking about it. But if it come across my timeline, I can talk about anything that I want to do. But again, to each their own." You know, and so now that just came across my mind, uh, that, you know, she said that, but took the time to come and watch a Kendrick Lamar and Drake video. We too old to be participating in this foolishness. Anywho, but yeah, I went over and there's over there on the other side. Y'all know we got the watermelon over there. The watermelon have probably about 10 watermelon on it. But I don't know what happened. Somebody definitely went over there and it looks like somebody, maybe an adult, had to be out, and I don't know anything else that would have smashed it that way, but one of the watermelons is smashed and bust open over there. So we gonna be one less watermelon. So, you know, but again, we ain't focusing on the things, the ugly. We focusing on the beauty of what we have. Um I also went over this morning and we finally got some peanuts coming through. So, you know, stuff, the garden is steady growing. Um we just got to clear out the weeds. And that's how real life actually goes. It's like sometimes there's weeds infest in our area and we got to pick them up and slang them up out of there. We got to get rid of the weeds out the garden. And then, you know, nothing but the beauty of what's actually growing there is showing. And you know, I even had somebody came through sometimes and say, "What makes you think that the plants are not happy with the weeds growing around them?" I say, "Dang, they just came through and made me have a thought that I've never even thought about thinking about before." He said, when you clean around a tree that has weeds around it, what makes you think that that tree needs you or wants you to clean those weeds from around? How do you know the tree is not happy with the weeds that are growing there? I say, dang, somebody come through and say something as simple as that. And it just allows me to think, because how do we know that that tree it's a crazy thing, but you can tie it to something really in your life. How do you know that, that's not good for us? We ever know, well, we have a situation where we thought something was bad for our life. Let's say like a person that comes through and talk to us about things you tired of hearing what they saying or whatever. But everything they making sense, they saying is absolutely true, but you tired of them. And you just wish they'll just leave you the hell alone. But then you discover later on down the line that everything that they were saying to you or everything that they were doing for you was everything that you absolutely needed. It kind of made me think of things in that way. Sometimes we push. Yep. Listen to what I'm saying. Sometimes we take and we push things away. Like I go if I got a tree and I like it or whatever, I go around it because I want it to look nice and presentable to me. So I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna pull all the weeds and everything from around it and everything, like push everything away from it because I think it looks better that way. Let me pull all the weeds and stuff away from it. Let me push this person away from it. I think you look better sitting over there where can't hear you talking no more because I'm tired of you telling me stuff. You push weeds back. But some kind of way the weeds keep on growing back. They just keep on coming back, no matter how many times you pull them away. So I don't know. We're gonna have to do a little more thinking on the weeds. I don't know, cause you push them away, you pull them back, and then they come back every time. You can't get rid of no weeds. So I don't know. I just something I thought about. And look at y'all. These butterflies keep flying through here, and they are absolutely pretty while we watching them fly through here. But you all do know that as they coming through here and they fluttering their little wings, they are leaving behind they little children everywhere. Um, and you welcome for y'all know I'll be behind in the chat because sometimes I'll get in here, start having a conversation with y'all in the chat, and then I'll be lost in the sauce again. Thank you, Miss Coffee. It feels good to be smiling this morning. My community gardening today. All righty then. You all in the community doing gardening? So happy you found peace gardening. Hi, Jamel Bagley. Yes, garden is definitely a part of my peace. Thank you, sis. I am planting more vegetables today, and it feels so good. You you are right, sis. It tastes so much better, and so much fresher. Absolutely, it is. And Shawanda, listen. Anytime I hear somebody saying seeds, they putting seeds into the ground. Here it go, girl. You put your seed in the ground. Ooh, tie it to an expectation. You're expecting. You're expecting those seeds to pop above ground, right? Tie it to something you got going on, girl. And them seeds popping up out of the ground could be a representation of. Just imagine the excitement that you feel when you plant your seed and the day you walk out there and you see your seed break through that soil. I always say a seed coming above the ground. Well, that's how I tie it to. And just the thought of that feels exciting to the stomach. That if you can look at your seed that you planted into the ground, and when you finally see it break through the soil, if you can tie it to a breakthrough in a situation that you having, honey child, you will have a good old time out in the garden. A good old time. Um, Maybe you recognize the ugly right away because you bring the beauty to it. Once you see the ugly, then you make it beautiful. So it's no longer ugly. That's a blessing. Oh, Shawanda. Just even thinking about that, I have to get up and I have to choose. I have to choose to see the beauty in myself. I have to choose that. That's how it started out. Choosing to see me better versus seeing all of my flaws. Wow. Ugh. Explain the duckling. Explain the duckling phase. Um, what you mean by that, Miss Coffee? Okay, maybe I was just running my mouth. The angels fire is good affirmations. Yeah, and I can't, don't get them from no particular place. Just things that I see and the things I remember, the lessons that I taught my kids, the things that I wanted them to have instilled inside of them. You know, I did a lot of things with my kids that was did not grow up and was not instilled in me. As like I got up and read books to my kids in the morning time, read books to my kids at nighttime. And all of those things that I did because they weren't implemented to me as a kid growing up. Things that you wouldn't think that is uncomfortable were all uncomfortable to me. Can you imagine you sitting there reading to your kids and they don't have a clue? Your kids don't have a clue. But being that it didn't happen to you, you almost feel like this is so stupid. I'm sitting here reading a book to my kids. Why are you doing that? No, even though my kids know how to read and all of that stuff, I still, it was something that I felt like I needed to instill in them. And though I was instilling something in them that had never been instilled in me, uh, it made it feel like there was an anxiety and almost like a fight that, child, just let them kids go on about their business. You don't need to read they big behind no story. There's no nothing like that. In the morning times, I got up and I prayed with my kids before they left the to leave for school. I started off praying for them and with them. We hold hands in the morning time till I went to a place of no, don't just pray for them. We teach them how to pray. We hold hands and every shoot, it was enough of them that only one person had to pray throughout the week. And no judgment to anybody. You pray the way that you pray or whatever. Just doing those things or just doing things with my kids, sitting them down to the table and having conversations with them. I'm telling y'all, if there's something that you're thinking about, and I'm all over the place. But if there's something you're thinking about doing it with your kids, but it wasn't done for you when you were a kid, it's definitely going to be uncomfortable because it's a new thing that you're trying to implement. You may feel like you're stupid or you're dumb or know nothing, but keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eyes focused on what it is that you're trying to do. And at this time in my life, I definitely recognize that I have been put here to break off generational curses in our family. And there's just no other way to say it, which is not a coincidence. Why I've raised 14 children, three of them, which I'm still raising. Everybody else has moved out and they're grown adults and they doing their thing. But which is why I was able to be put in a position to have such a great number of our family members, whether I gave birth to them or via they came through somebody else's body. Um, they were my children. They are a part of our family. Some not. Um, were no blood relation, but they turned into family. So, but again, something for me to be able to instill in them the new generation. Our family was not a family that travels or think outside of the box. Everybody's stuck in Gifford, Florida, and it's like, nah, I want better for better for my family. So I want to introduce them to things that we don't usually do. Just like I told y'all, Miss Coffee made that video for me, short video. She introduced me to a whole nother world that I didn't really know. I knew it existed there, but I didn't never think I'll need it or I'll touch it because I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So bringing them and taking let's not do a family reunion at another family member's house or any of that stuff again. Let's start going to different places. Let's start leaving the state of Florida, broadening your horizon. And once you start seeing those kind of things, then you can start to dream on your own. So hopefully what I did was open my kids' minds and things that our family hadn't been introduced to. And that doesn't mean our family and stuff wasn't praying and stuff before. We just wasn't a family that was praying together. We did it together. You got ministers and evangelists and all of this here stuff, but were we pulled to the side to learn those things? Were we sat down to the table to have conversations? Were you pulled to the side and asked, has anybody ever touched you or any of that? Don't expect to be comfortable in those things if that's what you were not brought up in. But definitely don't let it make you so uncomfortable that you don't introduce your kids to those things. Just because it wasn't done for you doesn't mean that it should not have been done. Go ahead and open it up, even though you're uncomfortable. Go ahead and open it up and walk through the door. And sometimes you can't walk through the door. Sometimes you got to step through there doing a karate kick the door down. One time I had a friend that told me, she said her daughter was in her room going off the hinges, just going off, going off. She was in there talking all that noise. She done locked the door and done locked the eye. She said she came through that hallway and kicked the whole door off the hinge. He said I came through and kicked the whole door off the hinge. Girl, don't play with me in my house. Don't close no doors and don't lock them, especially when I'm trying to talk to you. Sometimes you got to kick the whole door off the hinge. And when you do that right there, you ain't got to say nothing. You ain't got to do nothing more. They understand when you done kick that door off the hinge, but you better sit your ass down somewhere. In that aspect, so be careful slamming them doors and locking them in people's face. Good morning, Shalissa. Hey, Korean. I love that Korean be coming through every day. I'm chicken poo one day. I'm cabbage, sweet potatoes, all of those. Keep on naming them vegetables, girl. Cause I was a little gassy this morning, so I'm a good cabbage. Let me quit. Hey, Sharon Shay, your baby chick over here is growing up so big and cute and love dropping chicken poop all over everybody over here. But good to see y'all this morning. Yes, thank you for teaching me some things. I appreciate you too, Miss Coffee, and I always want to, you know, it doesn't matter how big or how small. I'm telling you all, Miss Coffee gave me a minute and 36 seconds of her life, if I got the right numbers correct. And she introduced me to something that I have been uncomfortable with. I'm thinking to myself, oh God, I'm about to ask this lady questions and everything, but I'm gonna have a whole bunch of questions, and I don't want her to get irritated because I'm I'm very slow and illiterate in this area. So oh my gosh. And I'm literally telling you my thought process of when it comes down to, because I'm not a person, I don't ask people for things. I don't. I can be right in front of you and I can be in need of something. I'm not gonna ask anybody. I'm not gonna ask anybody for anything. That's just me. I'm not gonna do it. So, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, I'm gonna have a whole lot of questions, and I don't know. And just I guess me talking to God before I even talk to her, Miss Coffee is connected. She's connected. I'm gonna just say that. I think whatever was there was dropped inside of her spirit, and I'm talking about. I'm telling y'all a minute and 36 seconds. Do you understand that you can give somebody a minute and 36 seconds of your time out of 24 hours, a minute and 36 seconds, and you can change somebody's life. Have you ever been having a conversation with somebody and you say something and you ain't had no idea that person was going through, and that minute you were standing there talking to somebody changed the whole outcome of that person's day, or somebody came along and did that to you and it changed everything about your day when it looked like your day was going downhill? A minute and 36 seconds can change somebody's life. Even less than that. A minute and 36 seconds. Just think about that. And sometimes we be so busy and we moving along. I was leaving the doctor's office where my kids have been going forever and a day, 20 plus years. And I'm in there shooting the breeze with the ladies or whatever. And I get ready to walk out. I got my kids' excuses and everything, getting ready to walk out the doctor's office. And right before I get ready to come from behind, from back in the back and walk through the door, she said, "Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute." And I was like, "Oh, okay then." And I stood there and I thought maybe she was getting some other paperwork or something that I had done forgot or whatever. And she comes from around the corner, from around the desk, and she stands in front of me and she asked me, she said, "Is it okay if I give you a hug?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, a hug. I didn't think that you would come around the corner to give me a hug." She came around the corner and I was like, "Yeah, sure." She came around the corner and she gave me a hug. Now, this is some information that I did not know, but I'm telling you how people can show up in your life. And we talking about a minute and 36 seconds. Y'all name some things that y'all been standing in a place, and a minute and 36 seconds have been significant to your life. You don't have to pour a whole bunch of nothing in there. Just a little sprinkle of salt is all that they needed for you to see them boom, 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 just blow up, right? So she gives me the hug and she says, "I just wanted to come and give you a hug." She said, "Because you're like family here. You've been here and you stuck it out with us forever and a day, and you're like family to us. And I just wanted to come around and say to you, you have done a great job with raising your kids. And I just want to say happy Mother's Day to you." And that was on Thursday, prior to me being triggered that morning. Um, and y'all, I had not even known that I get what tomorrow is Mother's Day that I think it is. I'm not even sure. I don't keep up with that type of stuff because um mothers, they don't just come on one day. Mother's Day, if you a mother, Mother's Day is every day. And I don't want to be celebrated on just one day. I want to be celebrated as a mother on every day. Shay, you say, "Wow, that's wonderful. Get them." Also, Shay around here pooping on people, leaving her mark. But you know what? We take Shayla poop, and we that's what we fertilize our plants with. So if she poop on your hand, go get you a bottle of water and go rinse it off right in that flower pot over there, and then go and wash your hands. You little nasty. Okay, yes. You all please hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you, Shalissa, very, very kindly. Um, but you all, this is what we looking like this morning. And I'm telling you that I'm not going to do this morning. I'm saying that I'm not going to do it, but y'all know once I come out into the garden starts speaking to me and everything, especially this part over here. Let me show y'all the part that's really speaking to me. After that machine get crunk up and stuff, and then I can listen to Tiller. Let me turn it back this way. Y'all see the Tiller sitting over there up under that tree? Y'all see that Tiller sitting over there, right? The Tiller talking to me. And this part of the garden over here that I'm about to show y'all too. This part over here talking to me say, Shauna, get me first over here. Get me first over there. Y'all see all that high sawgrass and stuff growing in between it say get me first. The garden be talking to you like that. So, I'm going to I don't know if it's going to be today. If it is going to be today, then that means tomorrow when we come live, we'll see. And I try to leave Sunday is a day of that I try to have a relaxing day on that day. It's not always successful, but I be trying. Um just to stay in like a restful place on Sunday. But we'll see what tomorrow may brings or even later on today. But listen, what if, cause see, I don't never be thinking in these ways. Child, what if I can get somebody to come and do it for me? And I do the other thing that I've been wanting to do and all of that good stuff. I don't be thinking like that, but honey, I may be asking some kids. And I wish y'all could see that how these squirrels dug the peanuts. See, we thought the squirrels just digging the peanuts up and they just eating them or whatever. But no, the squirrels dug up the peanuts and they took them everywhere, all over the yard. And so we got peanuts growing everywhere, but in the places we actually planted them in. So you you all, the eye sunflower that's up there in the other part by the strawberries and stuff like that. Child, that everything up there looking looking very, very um dried up, shriveled up, and all of that stuff. But I'm thinking, my son put an offer out there and said, well, you want to get your garden beds up higher because I got back issues and stuff like that. Um, get my garden beds up higher so I don't have to be doing so much bending down to do whatever I do. And so he's into construction and everything. So he can actually bring me some wood, not the kind of wood that I would usually use, but you all know we've been encouraging each other and talking to each other about utilizing the things that you already have around your household and stuff. Like I was even talking to my sister Shalissa the other day, and I was telling her that and you all, if you haven't already, go over and check out her page because my sister is growing in her own way. um she's been through a whole lot of things. I was actually one who helped take care of her as she grew up after when our mom passed away and everything. So she went through a lot of lows and stuff in her life, and and now she was crawling like a baby before, and now she done hit the ground running. So just listen to some of her stories and how low she has actually been to the ground. And if you know somebody who's been through some of the things that she's been through, she's dealt with a lot of narcissists, um guys and stuff like that. But she talking people through you know her situation. So maybe there's something you can pick up from her while going through her situation. But um what else I was going to say about you, Shalissa? I forgot. But anyways, my son can get the wood and stuff, and start building the things up. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear out everything. And oh y'all, the onion seeds, y'all seen the onions, right? All of the little the top of the bulbs and everything done dried out. So my husband came to me yesterday and he had all these little black dots in his hand, and I was like, "Oh, those are my seeds from out there." So they are ready for me to clip them off. I don't know how many onion seeds we gonna have, but I'm gonna go ahead and clip them all off. And I think we gonna clear everything out of those beds. I'm gonna clip the heads off of those sunflowers. I got a whole lot of stuff that I gotta do. We ain't got no shortage of things that we need that we need to get done over here. And I don't know how we gonna do them. And y'all, but what I think is when after I get off here, it was a blessing to be able to just come out here and sit in the garden. And I'm not as um nervous as I thought I would be because I'm sitting very close to the ground. I'm actually sitting on the crate what the snake was crawling through the last time and everything. And my concern has not been a whole lot about snakes or whatever. So it feel good to be in that place or whatever. So, we ain't, hey, we may not be where we want to be at today, but we sure ain't where we used to be. And as long as that's what's happening, that means you growing. As long as you ain't in the same place that you was yesterday, last week, last year, it's according to what your situation is. As long as you're not, sorry y'all, I got a phone call just again. As long as you're not in that same place anymore, you doing good. You're growing. Hey, growing with Hudson, how you doing this morning? Good to see you. Yeah, okay, about growing in beings. I was talking to you all about utilize the things that you have there. You may not like how they look and everything. That's a thing that I went through. I don't like the way they look. Liking the way things look ain't got nothing to do with you being able to grow no food and you ain't being able to see your process. Yes, you want things to look cute, especially when you've had so many other issues in your life. You want everything to look good. Another thing that I was going to talk about, because I was just going to say about it being utilize what you have around, and if you can grow it, and I don't care if it's a clothes bin or a clothes basket, if you ain't using it no more and you can transform it into something that you can grow in or whatever, if you using containers or whatever, use it to grow in. But I was thinking about sometimes we see people and we encourage people, oh, you should girl, you should get your hair done and do this, and you should get your nails done and everything. And a lot of these people that you see painted up and did up, they look good on the outside, which is can also be an example of us paying attention to what things look like that we planting in, and we just finna fill it up with dirt. You can have a person who look like a masterpiece on the inside and can never walk out in the true or the truth of who you are. And when I say that, I'm not knocking anybody that does it, that you got to be made up every day that you step out of the house because it make you feel some way, but it's something wrong if you can never take a step outside of your house without you having on, you're adding stuff to who you are. And I just want to say that you are enough without adding anything to it at all. You're enough. I don't know who that's for, but I see a lot of people, and I look at them and I was like, I do be like, wow, their hair looks very, very pretty. Their makeup is absolutely flawless. There's beauty that I see into that. But if you can't get up in the morning, wash your face, comb your hair, your natural hair, put on some clothes, and walk out the door, and just you, no eyelashes, no makeup, no nails, no toenails, no none of that. If you can't walk outside in the true you, I think there's something wrong. And again, there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. But if you recognize that you're having an issue with leaving out of the house without having any of those things done, um, because sometimes it's easier to be broken and tore up on the inside, but on the outside, you look like $1,000,000. And if you can take away, and I'm not telling y'all something that I haven't been through, because there's times I can go and I can get my hair done 2 times out the week, and that's no lie. There's been times I had my hair done for. I've paid somebody to do micros in my hair before, and I took them out less than a week later. There's times I got a hairdo, and the guy that I was dating at the time, he didn't like the way the hairdo. He didn't like the hairdo for himself. I liked the hairdo, but he didn't like it. In his opinion, it looked like Um, it wasn't a hairstyle or whatever. Back when they was doing like the pineapple thing or whatever, and then they take it and then like do like the lift up and stuff like that right there and everything. You know, in his opinion, it didn't look like it was done. So I had that for 3 days. I got to go back and get my hair done again. But all at the same time, I was running, going to do these things on the inside. Everything on the inside was jacked up. Everything. So if it's for anybody, I'm not knocking anybody for going to get their hair done because y'all can clearly see every now and then I like to go and get my hair done. I may put on some nails and stuff every time, but there's also things that are starting to happen to me of why I changed those things. Let me look in the chat. You beautiful people, enjoy the weekend and have a wonderful Mother's Day. Be blessed. Talk to you later. Okay, Miss Coffee. Um, a little better today. How are you? Okay, Miss growing with husband. Good that you feeling better. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. And I hope Mother's Day is every day for you. But I was going through those things and everything looked good on the outside, but the inside of me was all broken. So I'll tell you some of the things that started to happen to me was I would get my nails done and it would be something as simple as this. I get my nails done. But I don't for those of you all who get your nails done, there's this thing when you put the nails on, you can feel there's like a tightness of when the glue grabs onto your finger. And I have to mind y'all too. I went to school. I went to cosmetology and I did nails and I did feet. So I know I can do my own nails if I want to. But there's a thing like when you put the glue on, and I never felt this, I never paid attention to this before, even when I was in school for it, right? When but it was something that started to happen to me as I was moving in these ways. It's like all of a sudden one day, and this is when I got older and I started to go through my process of healing. There was a point where I would go to put nails on, and it's like when that glue initially attaches to the nail, it's almost like you can feel a tightness. You can feel a tightness of the glue attaching to your nail. Now, I'm telling you about that is like you can feel the pressure of like when the glue attaches to your nail and then it starts to like tighten up on there. That feeling. Well, that feeling that I used to feel start to give me a sensation of anxiety. So then it's like I'll put them on and I'll be like, that feeling in my fingernails was like an uncomfortable thing. So then it's like, I got to get them off. I got to get them off. And so it prompted me as like, I don't want to have them on. So I started going through something like that where just the nails didn't start to feel good or anything to me. I started paying attention to how it made me feel. So then I stopped putting the nails on. The last time that I had my hair done, I had got into this mode of my sister came and did my hair the first time, and I was good to have my hair, but I've been removed myself a long time ago from going to get my hair done, which helped me remove it was I had dreadlocks in my hair. At one point, my dreads grew down past my butt. And when it got to that point, I was just like, no, I'm done with this right here. So I cut the dreads off, got my hair done. And from having dreads in my hair for so long and me being the one that was taking care of them or whatever, I grew out of the thing of where I was used to going to get my hair done and everything. So I was relaxed. So I got my hair done by my sister and I felt good in that one. But then after I did that, it was like you can hear somebody saying, "Oh, I love when you get your hair done and you put on makeup and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel good in those times, but I even feel better when I can get up and just be me and not have to add all of that extra stuff. But there are times that I do want to get up and I do want to put well, I don't wear makeup. I only wear lipstick and eyeliner. I don't do the lashes or no none of that stuff. And I did even say it one day I may try the lashes or whatever. But no, I'm not into that stuff right there. But there's one time that I tried to do it again, and I did my hair again myself because I know how to do hair too. I did it myself, and it was like I had it in for a few days, and like I liked it. But then all of a sudden, just one day, I had this feeling of it was time for me to take it out. Like, an anxious feeling came there. It's like I need to get it out. So, I took it out and I was back to being comfortable with who I am. You all, I'm not encouraging anybody to not take care of yourself, um, or know any of that. I'm not saying don't go and get your hair done or know none of that. All I'm saying to you is just like Growing with Hudson said, and you all go over and check her out. You are enough. You are enough. So nobody can't be offended by me saying you are enough. And in any situation, show up in what it actually is. Show up your true self. Because only when you can show up as your true self that the truth can be revealed to you. When you show up in your true self. If you show up in a lie, you will get more lies. And that's just facts. Because nobody can give you the truth based off of a lie. How you make that right? So you all, I'm not gonna keep you all much longer, but we over here, this at Life with Tashanna, where they call me Shauna, we believe in growing in real life and in the garden, which we call ourselves also the high class gardeners. And that just means we make sure we growing something at all times of the year. Y'all see, we out here growing stuff. It got weeds everywhere, but we still got food hidden in these weeds out here. And that's all that matters. We make sure we growing all times of the year. Whatever you can grow, whether you got to grow it in your house, grow it outside, grow something. And as you grow outside, you grow on the inside, which means we tie whatever we got going on in the garden to our real life so we can watch ourselves grow through these plants and feel ourselves grow on the inside. The high class part is we don't mess around with no bugs, no snakes, and no worms. And that's in real life. We tie that to our real life too. We don't mess with those things. Those people show up in those forms all the time. We just don't bother with them in that way. So that classifies us as a high class. But then now they say, Miss Shauna, how you a gardener and you don't mess with bugs? We got something for all of that. And no, we don't spray that funny stuff on our food and all of that kind of stuff. We got husbands and children and all that kind of stuff that ain't afraid of those things. They come out here and handle that part. So that classifies us as high class gardeners over here. And if you that kind, a high class gardener too can be one of them ones. I ain't going out there to dig in the dirt, but I'll throw some seeds on the ground. That can qualify you as a high class gardener too. Your own thing. Somebody came over here and said, "Well, how in the world?" And that's Cassie. I ain't seen her in a minute, but shout out to you, Cassie. Cassie, you came over and she asked me. She said, "Now, how is you a gardener and you scared of bugs and worms?" I say, "Well, then I do. I guess that do." She said, "You a high class gardener, huh?" I say, "Well, there you have it. We are the high class gardeners over here because we don't play around with none of that stuff. Okay. But what we do make sure is that we're all growing at the same time. And then if you're interested in growing, um, then come over and join with us. Y'all can also go over and check out Growing with Hudson. She is a grower also. She grow a lot of different things. So I bought a green stalk for my Mother's Day gift to myself. Oh, okay. Shout out to blessing yourself, growing with her. Say amen to that. All right. Let that be a lesson. Growing with her and say she didn't wait for nobody to name name her Mother's Day for her. She went out and she blessed herself with a Mother's Day gift. Growing with Hudson, you might be speaking to me now. Go on and bless yourself, girl. But you all have an amazing day and keep on growing. Keep growing. Till next time. See y'all later.